Welcome to Thought Leader Life, where we are helping to democratize thought leadership. Join us each week where we interview a new thought leader about what it takes to become and maintain thought leadership in a number of different vertical markets. To learn more, check out www.thoughtleaderlife.com. Hi, Mitchell Levy, the AHA guy from AHAthat, and welcome to what's going to be a most amazing episode of Thought Leader Life. It's Thought Leader Life 145 with co-host Lisa McDonald. Lisa, thanks for bringing on such amazing guests.
Well, isn't he? We both are in the same circles with Jeffrey Hayzlett, and anybody who's in the business world knows a little something, at least, about Jeffrey Hayzlett. So I want to say thank you to you, Jeffrey, for joining us here.
Yeah, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just trying to figure out which one of us is which. It depends.
Well,
Let's see, good, bad, ugly. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I'm just trying to figure out which one of us is really the host of this thing. That's what's going to be fun today.
Well, this is going
to be one of those shows where it's like when you go to the supermarket and they got one of those bucking Broncos. You put the quarter in, you get to go for the full ride. This will be it right here.
Yeah.
This is the full ride. I agree. So, Jeffrey, not that anyone doesn't know who you are, but just, I've known you for, 10, 15 years, way back when I was booking speakers at Comdex. I'd booked you into Comdex to speak, and I've watched your ride. I've participated in your masterminds and your C-suite groups. I love what you do. I love the trajectory you're going. I love the legacy you're driving. And so that's a great first sort of softball question. What does legacy mean to you in today's world?
Well, I mean, I think it's the thing that people will say about you when you're dead, right? Or I think that's the biggest thing you can say is what have you left behind to leave a mark? And so that people will know that you spent this time on earth, or spent this time in business, or spent this time as friends or as family. I think that's what legacy really means. And I think it's a great way for people to think of that. And I'm in the twilight of my years. I would be willing to say that, meaning I'm past that. If I live to be 100, I'm past the halfway mark now. I hope I live that long. My grandmother lived a little bit longer than that, so hopefully, with everyone saying we got a little bit longer to live, so maybe I'm not.
I think the bacon for you is going to help extend your life. So
yeah, well, just the nitrates in the bacon helps, flow through my body, and then I'm trying to internally embalm from Scotch alone. So those are two great things. But I think it's something I think of from time. I don't worry about the legacy, because I try to live my life the way I think it should be lived today. And if that results in a great legacy, wow, that's fantastic. But I don't think of it. I don't look at that way. I do think of it when I look at my grandchildren sometimes and think, well, what will be their legacy of their grandfather? And hopefully it's that they will say he was a good grandfather, right? And that's, and I was there, and I was a playground for him, and, I did things. But I do think of it from time to time, but I don't try to plan my life around it. I try to live my life with the values that I want to instill in others, and I practice them every single day as best I can, because I think all of us make mistakes. All of us would like to do things over. I think we'd all like to have that mulligan or the do-overs from day to day, and I'd like to have them actually every day, in terms of stuff that I do that I shouldn't do. But I think your legacy is that collective result of what you do and who you've been associated with and how it's represented. So it's really cool.
Actually, you touched upon something that I thought was really pivotal for the listeners and the viewers that I want to kind of recap on. So when you said, because I think legacy is something people do obviously need to be cognizant of, but the point that you made, I think, has equal merit, and that's it's not contrived. And because you're very clear on how it is you wish to live your life in your deliberate decisions and living life on purpose, and having preset goals, and just being very much an evolutionary person and very much somebody who's thinking ahead of the curve. Just to remind you people, Jeffrey's sitting in a lobby.
Yeah, I'm in a lobby. I just got
real life.
It's real life. I just got through finishing up a keynote speech, and I got so swamped afterwards I couldn't get away. So the best I could do was get to a lobby, because I just knew how important this was. So thank you. So my legacy is I'm busy. I'm very busy. But
yes.
but you guys were so important. I wanted to make the call.
So legacy, Lisa, let me just jump in just for a second.
Sure.
It's just interesting. You're busy, and you recognize that, hey, go to lobby because you'll probably have good internet there. And the most important thing is just to show up and to be here. right? Don't make excuses because you're in the lobby, but just so everyone knows, if there's background noise, it's because you're in the lobby. And
I'm in the lobby. Well, I made a commitment. I mean, that's my, that's one. I think that's one of the things I'm best known for is I make a commitment, I keep it, I do it. I made a promise to you. It's like making a pinky promise. So that's what I'm doing. Is I made that promise to make.
I know. I was just thinking.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows about those pinky promises. Those are the most important ones. You make a pinky promise to your kids to take them to Disney World. God forbid you ever try to break it, right? And that's the way I look at promises. You asked me to be on this show, and at the time in which we're doing it, most inconvenient time in the world, but nonetheless, I said I would do it. So I'm doing.
Actually, you could thank your Tallgrass PR person for the exact time, but
yeah. Yeah. Well, they're very helpful to me, so they help in my life. But Lisa, get back to your point. I try to live myself on values. I'm the chairman of the Hero Club and the C-Suite Network, and our Hero Club is very dedicated to value-based businesses. And so someone said to me today, with all my accomplishments, all the things that you can list behind my name, why isn't philanthropist behind it? Mm-hmm. And I said, because I don't need to. And I said, I don't feel a desire to. A hero doesn't say they're a hero. Just like I don't think I need to say I'm a philanthropist, or I don't need to say I'm a Christian, or I don't need to say I'm this. I do those things. And by doing those things, you recognize that. Or I lead a hero business, and because I lead a hero business that says I care about the people I'm working with, I care about the people I do business with, I care about taking care of the employees in my business, therefore I'm a hero. And I don't need to put that behind my name.
And I don't need to say I'm crazy because you say it for me.
I say you're crazy. I'm crazy. It's because I'm crazy in love with you because of just who you are. You're just out there. I tell people because you're Canadian, you're crazy as a loon. I say that. And but I say that in a really loving way because you're one of those great people who really, stretches people. And you push them and you say it like it is. I mean, you've got that great, you talk about your legacy, you've got that great legacy of being fearless, and just like Mitchell's one of those guys that helps you distill the distinct things that are thought pieces in your head into these little bites that are prolific. So each of us has gifts. Each of us has these things that we can give. And again, I get back to your whole thing. Those are legacies. Those are the legacies that you live. Or if you want to say it, those are your promises that you deliver.
Absolutely. Can we have a legacy moment and do what we did before we went pre-live with the teeth?
Well, I always pretend I was a beaver. Doing like that. So we were all doing that. Because I was doing it with my granddaughter about 10 minutes before the call. Because I'm a big playground for my grandkids, and I love my grandbabies, and so I call them all the time. I call them, and they talk to their papa, and she was showing off her fingernail polish and her toenail polish and her heart sunglasses because she was going to a party. And so I was trying to make her laugh, and so that's what I was doing.
Love it.
So, Lisa, you and I talked about this in our introductory session. Yes. And one of the things that you mentioned, which was really powerful, is in terms of creating your legacy, don't wait for tomorrow. Start living your legacy today.
Yes, because oftentimes when people hear the word legacy, and yes, it's the buzz trendy word right now, so people latch on to it. But for people who, as Jeffrey pointed out, I don't define myself as a hero, me referencing Jeffrey, or philanthropist. It's like legacy. Yes, I'm cognizant of it in terms of taking massive action every single day, being congruent, walking my talk, being the living, breathing example of that. But it's not for label's sake, because then it's disingenuous. It's contrived. It's artificial. It's fabricated. But people sometimes think that when you hear the word legacy, it's somehow associated with midlife, or once you've accomplished a laundry list of different things, or you've got X amount in the bank, or you've got, as Jeffrey indicated, so many things following your name. No, legacy, I think at the core of that is truly, what kind of a human being are you? What is the message that you're imparting? And I'm not talking about branding specifically. I'm talking about everything that comes out of our mouth is an advertisement into who we are as human beings. That could be negative, or conversely, it could be for the positive. So if we're here, as Jeffrey pointed out, in terms of the mission with the Hero Club, it's really about paying it forward, being of service, being great human beings, anchoring people up, navigating the journey with them, doing things alongside people, not being in front of them. It's not hierarchy. It's not us and them.
Lisa, if I can jump in, I mean, I talk about
no,
brands.
You can't.
Yeah, I'm going to because I can. What the heck? This is going to appear on C-Suite Radio anyway, and I own it. So there you go. We're going to put it there anyway. So I'm just teasing. Yeah. No, but, I talk to people about brand because people get this confused sometimes. But when a brand is a brand, first of all, is something we always put on a cow and occasionally a horse. That's where the word brand came from, was to brand our ownership on the side of a bovine. Then it got transferred to a company, or what is my brand? Well, there's lots of things to brand, but brand is not the logo. Brand is not your color. Brand is not your look. Brand is a promise delivered. And so your legacy is your promise delivered. So it's your brand. And so you need to be authentic now. And need to be transparent now about who you are and what. And the sooner you can do that, the better, because then you're value-driven, value-based, and then you clearly know who you are and what you're doing and what you want to get out of life. And I think that's real critical for people to really take time and take stock to think, what kind of person do I want to be when I grow up? But why do I have to wait till I grow up to be that person? Why can't I do it now?
Absolutely. Bingo. Bullseye. Yep.
Jeffrey,
this is deep. I don't think the three of us have ever been this deep. I'm not even.
We had a Facebook comment that bacon and vodka will increase your life.
Bacon and vodka, Scotch is better than bacon.
I would probably say Scotch and bacon, although I've never had the two together.
I have.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Drink on more than
one occasion. And probably for breakfast.
So, dude, for the next Hero Club meeting, I'm counting on you that we do that. A good Scotch, not a blended. A good.
We will single malt. We have a good Glenfiddich single malt, 18, 21, 30 years, something like that.
I'll be in New York for the December meeting, so
awesome.
I'll count on you. So. Jeff, what? God, I always say Jeff and Jeffrey. Sorry.
Well, I go by either. I always tell everybody it's Jeffrey. It's how I get. It sounds richer, so you should use Jeffrey as much as possible.
I say Jeffrey.
Yeah, I know, but anyhow. So Jeffrey, I guess I've known you for so long. There was a long time I was calling you Jeff. Anyhow, one of the things that you mentioned, which I just absolutely adored, was you're not necessarily thinking about your legacy of tomorrow. You're just living your legacy today. You're the embodiment of who you are. And that seems natural to you, but can you sort of share what that really means?
Well, why would you want to try to be something that you're not in order to get the accolades or be represented by that? So be what you are. And if you be what you are, then you don't even have to think about it.
Absolutely.
If you're, to be, legacy was he was a good person. Well, then be a good person, and then you would be described that way. So think about that. How you live your life determines what how you're represented. I just, it's like I was at a speaking event today, and someone actually said to me, "How do you be good?" Hello. you be okay. Here, flash.
Wow.
You be good by being good. And by practicing the craft and understanding the craft and the elements of the craft and how you need to put it together and what you need to do, and you have to be a subject matter expert at what you do, and then you have to deliver it in a way that's spectacular. That's how you're good, okay? And it comes with practice. And it comes with being good. And so, again, let's get back to, being a legacy. If I am who I am, then that's it. So, so I really think it gets back to values. A lot of people are talking about, especially in business. We had a debate this week at our, again, a Hero Club retreat where we had about 60 CEOs, and we were doing some fly fishing and then doing some introspective thought. And we were talking about culture, and they said, it's all about culture. I said, no. To me, it's about the values. The values drive the culture. Cultures develop over a long period of time. You can't just come in tomorrow and say, I'm going to change the culture, because that's like saying, okay, tomorrow we're going to play a symphony. Well, first I got to teach you to play the instruments. Then we got to get good at the instruments. Then we got to get good at doing it together. Then we got to get good at doing the the reeds, and then we got to get good at doing the strings, and we got to get good at doing the drums, and we got to practice it all together. We got good timing, and then we have an orchestra, okay, and then we have, you know, so culture works the same way, and so to me, it's more around what are the core values, and I think for your legacy, I think our Hero Club is such a great example of this through the C-Suite Network and the Hero Club, is then how do I get back to the values? What values do I want to represent as a company, and specifically for CEOs, how CEOs drive the values, how they're the leader of those values, and now take this to your family, how you're the leader of your family, you know, or the matriarch of the family, or the patriarch of the family, or the daughter of the family, or the grandchild of the family. We each have values that we should live, and hopefully those are intertwined together, and that becomes our family legacy, or individual legacy, or the mother's legacy, or whatever. You know?
Or the doormat of the family. You know, you got to think about what really, right? Are you where you want to be in terms of being seen based on action? Or, you know, some people would say, oh, I'm the dog of the family, or I'm the whatever of the family. And that would speak to the negativity or the relationship.
I don't know why. You know, I can't even imagine. I know people get in that mode, and they get in that mood. I have a tough time with that, because I'm just such an optimistic person.
Yes.
And I hate to have anyone have pain or not be what they want to be. So,
can I tell you something? We're doing work with Bill Wallace. So you'll see a Bill Wallace AHA book coming out. And
Bill's crazy. You talk about Loon. There's a guy right there.
Bill is the most my writers were falling in love with Bill. He's the most altruistic servant leader person on the planet. So here's what he said, which was fascinating. Completely changed my description. I always thought you're either glass half full or glass half empty. And when I said that to Bill, I said, hey, Bill, you're definitely glass half full. He goes, no, I'm not, Mitchell. He goes, I am glass overflowing.
Yes.
And so you could be glass half full, glass half empty, or glass overflowing. Now that's a value to be known for.
See, then I would go to Bill. But Bill, I'm a bucket, man. I'm a bucket. I'm a barrel. I'm a keg. I'm like a big pool. I'm a lake. I'm an ocean, you know? So I'm going to tell Bill he's got to set his sights higher.
Well, that's interesting there is it makes for what you're saying is, I'd say even 10, 20 years ago, the person who was the CEO of the company was different than the person who went home to his or her family.
Oh, and sometimes you shouldn't be.
In today's world, I don't think you should be at all.
No.
Yeah, I don't think we were. I think there was some of that. I do, Mitchell. I do think there was some of that. I think social media has helped us to uncover it, or the transparency of social media and the transparency of just life in general today in a digital world. I said in my first book, The Mirror Test, sell you, sell the company, sell you. There's no difference, especially for entrepreneurs. I don't think there is a big difference between that. And I think it's getting that way now for the companies. I mean, think about one of the good things that's come out of the Me Too movement has been the real transparency of that your CEO can't act like that. No, it's not acceptable. And you have to, and so if the company has these values, then as a CEO, you should also have those same values. There should not be a disconnect between that. And, I think the only way you can get by with those values maybe is if you were the head of Playboy, but even then it shouldn't be around harassment and those kind of things. But nonetheless, don't send letters from me. Sometimes we make mistakes when we talk about these things. So I talk out loud, but my point is they gotta be intertwined, man.
And can I just share an aha moment, and then Lisa, I'll let you ask the next question. So the aha moment you just gave me, which was absolutely beautiful, is values for a company leads to culture. Values for the CEO and for the human leads to legacy. And in both cases, you need to live your legacy today. You need to live your values.
Kool-Aid. You got to drink the Kool-Aid. If you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, what the hell? You got to be mixing it up. You got to be making it by the gallon. You got to be making it by the drum. And then you got to drink it, and you got to be serving it up to everybody else all the time. In my company, I think you get our values. We try to be a servant mentality for the C-suite. and, you know, in our C-suite advisors and our Hero Club and our council members and our, you know, our Black members and all the different members that we have in our organization. It's real critical for us. And if you don't serve that, I mean, and I'm always pushing like beyond how to increase it. You know, I try to do it in a fun way, although it's serious. I try to do it in a fun way. You know, I joke about people when they say it's cold in the office, hey, work harder, you know, you'll get warmer, you know. Stuff like that.
Love it. You know, there's always a plethora of questions that can be asked, but I think because we're talking about legacy and we're talking about, you know, if this were the last day that you, all of us were on the planet today, you know, how would you want to know now while you're alive, I would remember you, right? So I want to give that back to you as opposed to just like filling up space and time with asking questions, a Q&A. So I will say to you, Jeffrey, if today were the last day on your planet, and I've even expressed this to you, what I respect the most, I mean, there's the list of what I respect is long and ongoing in nature. But if you were to die today in the physical form, what I would most respect and remember about you was what you are as a father, as a grandfather, and as a husband. I think what you give back to your family, because I think once you've established that foundation and you have what it takes to love and you know, to keep everything going and to keep everything expansive and to keep everything growing, well, you know, that trickles down to every other aspect of your life that you take equal pride in and you take equal stock in. So when you post, out of all the things that you post, as much as I love getting the updates on C-Suite and I love hearing about, you know, and you retweeting my Living Fearlessly with Lisa McDonald radio stuff, the things that I most look to is, oh, what a lovely picture that is of your family. You know, those two beautiful granddaughters are just amazing. That's what says everything I need to know about you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, at the same time, you say that what goes through my head is I haven't done enough. I don't do enough. I want to do more. And that you know, we all suffer with these things of I'm still inadequate, you know, in that regard, because I work too much. I'm away too much. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. But, you know, you do what you can. And
Yes.
you know that in life we can't do it all. And so there has to be things that give, you know, if you push on one side, something's got to give on the other. And so at least I'm a realist enough to know that, but I do my best, and I know that's not enough. And that's, you know, I mean, that's just where
I get it.
kind of lives. Yeah, it kind of lives, you know, in terms of that.
I get it. Absolutely.
Really?
And I know it's better than what my parents did. You know what I mean?
No, I actually think this generation is living significantly better in terms of giving value to their children and future generations than past generations. It's just, I think it's a nature of how we've been more transparent and open and authentic.
Awareness.
Yeah.
I think awareness has played a big part of it, Mitchell, and it's being more aware and are more vulnerable about it in terms of being acceptable of that. I mean, certain things years ago you didn't talk about, you know, or didn't bring forward, or you wouldn't have had a conversation like this. You know, if I had a conversation with my grandfather and my dad about legacy, what the heck? What's that bullshit? You know, get your freaking job done. Hand me the hammer. Hand me the hammer. It would have been, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been like, what the hell's that? Give me another cigarette. You know, it would not have been the same thing. I'm not saying that they weren't as enlightened or educated or aware of those kind of things or those kinds of conversations. So they were better. I think they were better than they were. I think they were better as they got older about it. And, you know, I'm hoping that I will live. I'm going to live as much to being regret free in the end.
Beautiful.
You know? Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm still going to have regrets. I have them already, you know, but I'm doing my best to try to make up for it. You know, I know me, I wouldn't be married to me. I'm not the best. I wasn't the best father. I'm not the best human. I'm not the best friend. I'm not the best business person. I'm doing my best. That's the best I can do.
I appreciate the authenticity.
Jeffrey, are you on a couch there?
I'm on a couch. Yeah. I
This
feel
is
like
turning into therapy, people.
Therapy. This is therapy.
Yeah,
right
no,
here.
no. I actually appreciate the integrity and the authenticity and the vulnerability of saying that out loud. And maybe that's true in your head. That's not true in terms of what people see of you, Jeffrey.
Oh, I got that. Yeah.
And what I will say as well is I think legacy, if we're living for today, I think another aha moment that you just gave me is I think we need to live life without regrets.
Well, without question, I think, the closer we can get to that. But let's also make the connection that what I have in my head or what others have in their head and what others see of them aren't always the same thing. There never are. All right. You know, I just had a friend whose daughter committed suicide, and talented, beautiful, nice. Why? You know, and so the disconnect of that, her not knowing that, and then what went through her head, and the mental illness, the depression of the other stuff, which we all know people. We've been touched by this. You know, we all know people. And people have turned to alcohol, drugs, and a lot of other things to try to just suppress that, you know, just to get through. So, it would, you know, but we all have that. I mean, even if we're this, you know, look, I'm in 5 Hall of Fames, you know, and yet I still don't think I've done enough yet, right? So we're, you
Only
know.
in 5?
Yeah, 5. Shut up.
Blacker.
Yes.
You're so bad.
Well, I'm working, you know, I'm trying. Those were just U.S. Now I'm going for Canada. You know, so there we go. Which got to be easier to do, I think.
Excuse me? Now.
Lisa, that's it. By the way, that's an idea for the next product that you're going to put out, the Living Fearlessly with Lisa Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there you go.
I've always got a million things going at once, as Jeffrey knows.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jeff,
You know, she's the most. By the way, Lisa McDonald is the most prolific texter in the world. There is nobody that texts more than Lisa McDonald. I'm telling you that right now. I am really good at talking and really good at sending emails, really good at texting, but I am not in the same league. Not in the same league.
Well, when ideas hit, you know, and I mean, and that's, you know, we're not going to go into detail here, but that's part of my contribution with C-Suite. I'm always thinking about how can we improve, how can we enhance, what can we expand upon in terms of product services. And so I'm, you know, if I waited to book an appointment with Jeffrey through a calendar, this stuff would all be gone.
Yeah, and it'd be a month. It's a month away. I wish I can't get to him. I can't. Yeah.
So, Jeff, I know half hours goes by super fast. Is there a question that given this conversation and the reflection you've had and talking about regret and more importantly, or lack of regret and living for today and your legacy is really the values you generate and share with your company and yourself, all beautiful points in terms of this topic and what we should focus on. Is there a question we should have asked you or a point you'd like to make that we haven't covered so far?
No, I think I think you guys are both thorough in the way you do it. And, you know, I also live and I'll look and reflect on this and watch this when it comes out, but you don't know what you don't know. You know, I think probably one of the best things you can probably do as you're looking at developing this yourself is just have these kinds of conversations, you know, and put yourself out there. And I think with your family or your friends or your business team and have good, clear, transparent, you know, I talk about, and I teach this in my last book, Think Big, Act Bigger, but radical transparency. I'm a real believer, and it's a lot easier just to have open, frank conversation. It's now it's easier. Doesn't mean it's easy. Okay. So let's be clear. When someone comes to you and says, "Can I offer you advice?" Your first thing is like, "No." Like, shut up. No, this is not gonna end well. You know, but I have people that do that all the time, and I have to center myself and be receptive to the fact that they might have a something to offer. And, you know, it's, you know, and all those. It doesn't mean I have to take it, but you have to be open to it. And I think that's I do my best to at least prepare myself to be open for it. And usually a lot of times I might like fight back on it to begin with, but then a couple minutes later, or maybe a couple hours, a couple days, could be a couple weeks. Then I go, no, I was right. That was good. That was good. You know, but in the moment, it's not good. You know, you don't want it. You know, so I think if we can do that, that's pretty cool. You know, I saw a Big Bang episode once where they each had to give something they didn't like with each other, and it escalated. It became a long list of things, between the two, what was it? I can't remember the two characters, but anyway, it's funny, and I think we should do more of that. I think we do more of that. I try, Jamie and I do that with each other. What do we like most about each other, and what don't we like? What the things we really don't like, but we don't always speak to them. And I think it's good for us to speak to them, because then I try to do my best not to be that person or be that, and by the way, it's almost always little stuff, but the little stuff leads to the bigger stuff, sometimes.
The other thing I'll say to that too is
I like it.
When people have the capacity, this is why I think we communicate as much as what we do, Jeffrey, is, I don't like people who blow smoke up my ass. I don't like people who it's like, oh, I got to stroke Lisa's ego and stuff like that. No, the people who I value the most input from, or who I will elicit their feedback from, are the people who, when you receive a compliment from somebody, it's sincere, because they will also tell you what. Yeah,
bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when
I like that too. I'm a real believer in that. I like, I'm frank. I have some very good friends. I have good friends, both, they're online friends, digital friends, that I didn't think I would have deep relationships with, but I do. And then there's those people that I have chemistry with, and those people that I have great respect for. And when you get to that level, you speak in a different, not only tone, but you speak in a different language, and it's a short form conversation. I like that.
It's a communication package I sent you for Christmas.
Oh God, we still have those magnets all over the place. I gave them to most of the female people on our team because of some of the things that are on those.
No, that's funny.
We can't show them on here though. Not suitable for children.
So Lisa, we're going to let you wrap up in a second. Jeffrey, how do people reach out to you if they want to connect to you?
Oh, just Google me. There's my name right there, Jeffrey Hayzlett. Look at that name right there, or you just type in anything C-suite, right? You can find us C-suite Network, C-suite Network Advisors, C-suite Radio, C-suite TV, C-suite Academy, C-suite Book Club. We're at the Hero Club, and I'll put a plug in, and I'm looking forward to the future. And I got a new book coming out called The Hero Factor, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, I love that. And we're actually we're doing a book with the Hero Club with the C-suite Advisor
Network Advisors. Yeah,
and the book is How to Be an Effective C-suite Executive, which I'm excited about that one as well.
Yeah, and you got some great content. I've seen some of the stuff people have been feeding you. And it's amazing. Oh, it's golden. It's golden.
It's beautiful nuggets.
It's platinum.
It's some metal.
Zirconium.
Lisa, how would you summarize this conversation? And then, of course, how do people reach out to you?
Well, I'm not overly surprised. I mean, this is why we invited Jeffrey to be the first panelist speaker here today for the Legacy series, because Jeffrey does walk his talk. And I knew that for the reasons why I would want to have Jeffrey interviewed here and shared with our mutual fan base and listeners and subscribers, I knew it was going to be the real deal. So this is why you're heading it up. This is why you were invited to be part of the panel. And this is why you're the first one out of the gate. So I just, I think Jeffrey embodies all the things that I truly, as a person who not only respects people and admires people for what it is they're doing in the space of business and how they're paying it forward and being of service, but as Jeffrey indicated in the earlier part of the segment here, it's there's no differentiation, there's no separation. How Jeffrey is in his business life is how he is in his personal life, and that's why he embodies all the things in terms of the type of legacy one would hope to leave behind, but doing it on a daily basis. So thank you.
Thanks. It's always good to be the lead dog. I like that. I love winning. I like being first. Beautiful. I was even driving back from a fly fishing trip, the Hero Club fly fishing trip the other day, and we're driving back from upstate New York to Pittsburgh, and we had a car caravan, and sometimes people would get ahead of us in the car, and their car would be ahead of ours, and we'd have to catch up and pass them because I don't like being behind anymore.
While you're drinking your scotch and
no, I wasn't drinking. They don't let me drive.
Right.
No one lets me drive because I'll be looking, hey, there's a deer. Hey, look over there. Or I would want to text or do work. So I just sit in the back or the passenger, and they drive, and then I do work. That's what I do.
And Lisa, how do people reach out to you?
So I can be reached. My website is livingfearlessly.com. I, of course, like all of us here, can be reached on various social media platforms. My favorite, however, more engagement over on LinkedIn. That's where things convert. That's where I believe people really value other people's time and are in the space. And that's where most of my collaborations have been birthed out of, truly, and people who have appeared as guests on my show. So email is lisa@livingfearlesslywithlisa.com. And of course, I've got a host page with C-Suite Radio Network, where I go live every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So Living Fearlessly with Lisa McDonald with the C-Suite Radio Network. And I'm just like YouTube, everywhere, all over.
So thank you, Lisa. And both of you guys, this is great. Yeah, Jeffrey.
I'm not a guy.
I'm so glad. Everyone's a guy or everyone's a gal. Okay, both you girls. Hey, girls. Hey,
people.
Dudettes. What's interesting to me, and I'm so glad you went first, Jeffrey. I was trying to think about all the different places we can go. What is legacy?
First, we're telling everybody they're going for. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. What does it really mean to be legacy? And I love the not living with any regret ever, living for today, being yourself. Largely what I often say, we do business with those we know, like, and trust. So make sure you're not just known. This is what your C-suite stuff does. Make sure you're not just trusted because you commit to your words, but also make sure you're likable because people know who you are. They could like you or not like you, but at least they know who you are. And that nicely ties together all the things that companies do in terms of creating values and culture and so on. And I'm going to be stewing on this for quite some time. So I just thank you for giving me more food to think through. I think this will be a phenomenal book. We're going to take 4.5 episodes, turn them into an AHA book. And if anyone's interested, that's what I do. I bring out the genius in experts, thought leaders, and companies. And we share it with both book formats, Amazon best-selling books, as well as hardcover, paperback, Kindle, PDF. And we're very soon starting something called AHAthat Radio, where the AHA messages will continuously stream online, which will be very cool.
I want to thank you both for bringing out the crazy in me.
Oh, this was a different interview than the last one we've had, Lisa.
Yeah, we had the whole thing. That was the easiest one.
Hey, so guys, same as our other two guests, feel free, just Google my name, Mitchell Levy. Connect to me on the social media platform that you want to play on. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, Snap. This has been as good of an episode as I could have possibly imagined. So Lisa, thanks for bringing on Jeffrey. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us. You guys were freaking awesome. We'll see you guys at the next episode of Thought Leader Live. Take care, everybody. Bye now.
Cheers.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of Thought Leader Life. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and activate us by going to thoughtleaderlife.com/activate. Till next time.